Hello, I am Dr. R.H. Kulkarni, an art historian, tutor, and art writer. I have been working on Indian art from last 3 decades, and also I teach in College of Fine Arts, Karnataka Chitrakala Parishad, Bengaluru. I head the Department of Art History and also Research Center. Kulkarni Chalukya is my personal initiative to inculcate the various aspects of the Indian art to the like minded friends, the students, art lovers, and also those who are in the profession of visual art, as well as those who would like to know about the Indian architecture, sculpture, iconography, and also various other subjects connected with the Indian art in general. Kulkarni Chalukya, the term associated with the my surname as well as the one of the most important dynasties of the Indian history, the Chalukyas, who ruled from the Badami, anciently known as Vatapipura, near Bagalkot in the Bagalkot district. In fact, Badami has been one of the most important centers of the art and architecture. It is my luck that I was born in the surroundings of Badami, and I was also studied uh, in the surroundings of Badami, had been a frequent visitor to Badami since my childhood. So Chalukya happened to be my favorite subject, and I also worked for my dissertation as well as my doctoral thesis on the Chalukya and pre-Chalukya sculptures. So that is how Chalukya has become synonym with Kulkarni from last 2.5 decades. The present lecture series, which I am going to share with you, is to commemorate the birth of Buddha. This is a first lecture series after I started my channel, and also I wish to introduce some of the very important and interesting themes connected with the dream of Maya Devi as well as the birth of Buddha. Today happened to be the Buddha Purnima, the birthday of the Buddha Tathagata, and to as a tribute, as a homage, as a commemoration, and also the great respect to the Divine Lord, I would like to share some of the rare sculptures which are known for their the highly interesting visual representations as well as the narrations. So the earliest representation, visual representation of the Buddha in the form of the symbolic representation in the entire history of the Indian art appears for the first time in Bharut. Bharut had a stupa, and it was built during the time of the Shunga dynasty, who were the successors of the Mauryas. Presently, the entire railings as well as the Vedibandha, that is the compound wall, have been preserved in the Indian Museum, Kolkata. The dream of Maya Devi, representation of the elephant, is an important aspect of the subject leading to the birth of Buddha. It is a very interesting note that we can understand in most of the early sculptures. The dream of Maya Devi has been represented in varied visual narrations. And why elephant has become a part of dream? What is the hidden meaning behind the representation of the elephant? So these are the some issues which we would look in rather a brief and also try to understand within the few pictures that I am going to show you. The The full image of Bharut panel, which is a medallion where the image of Maya Devi is represented as reclining on the charpai or the cot. You can also notice the three assistants who her assistants are sitting and also possibly feeling asleep, and the elephant which has a decorative headdress with bells hovering down or descending down towards the earth from the heavens. Though heavens is not represented here, one can imagine the way the elephant is coming down. The way the elephant is coming down, it actually emerges out of the rim of the medallion. So the artist has done his job by beautifully narrating the elephant as well as the reclining the mother of the mother Maya Devi, and also the figures which have been represented from the rear side also gives us the clear view that artists understanding of the dimensionality of the figures. The stories connected with the birth of Buddha represent the dream of Maya Devi as one of the very important incident. Let us try to understand why this dream becomes an important subject in the Buddhist narratives. In the Buddhist narratives, as we come across the stories connected with the Maya Devi as well as her husband Shuddhodana, the parents of the future Buddha or Siddhartha. They were the Shuddhodana was ruler at Kapilvastu, and the couple had no issues for quite a long time, which is a very common thing in India. When the couple doesn't have the issues, either they would pray or they do some sort of installation like a Naga Pratishtha, etc., and they submit their votive objects or votive alms to the Divine One to bestow them with the child. This couple, the Shakya couple, Shuddhodana and Maya Devi, had no issues and they were also getting old. Possibly, they had no issues for almost 1.5 decades after their marriage. When they request their Kulguru, Asita, about why they are not having the children, Asita foretells that they will have definitely a son who will be an universal king or Maha Chakravarti. Either he would be a great ascetic or he would be a Maha Chakravarti who will rule the universe from both the sides, from the spiritual world as well as the mundane world. So this resulted in a very subsequent episodes where Maya Devi dreams of a white elephant in her dream. White elephant, appearance of the white elephant has been interpreted as the conception of the Maya Devi. Conception of the Maya Devi. It is understood that the Buddha, who is supposed to be the 1000th Buddha, who descended in the form of the white elephant to the mortal world that is the earth, to enter into the womb of Maya Devi to become her child. So there is a beautiful inscription in Brahmi in the same Bharut panel, which reads as Garbhavottkranti. Garbhavottkranti meaning it is a conception. Maya Devi conceives the child. The dream turns true. So here white elephant or the elephant is a symbolic representation of the Buddha. The elephant has become an important feature, an important image that has been used by the Buddhist art, used by the Buddhist artists or the artists of the Buddhist period. So during the time of Ashoka also, we see that the pillars that have been erected will also have the images of the elephant. And of course, elephant has been part of the various aspects. Even at the Hathi Gumfa in Odisha, The elephant has been carved where the first rock edict of Ashoka was engraved. So in a way, elephant's mighty powers and also it is high intelligentsia, possibly connected with the future Buddha, as he was represented symbolically in the form of elephant. So, but the mode of representation which uh, is is an important aspect of the Indian art, Indian sculpture. We should understand that these are the first ever narratives that have been represented by the Indian artists. During the time of the Maurya, we do come across various sculptures, but not the narratives the way the Bharut Stupa has represented. So let us try to see some other examples how various artists and various the periods have developed the motif, elephant motif. And this particular image is from Sanchi Stupa. It is carved on one of the pillars, and where you can notice the palace scene, and of course you can also notice the reclining Maya Devi. If you carefully observe her abdomen, which is bulged, and it shows that she has already conceived at the appearance of the white elephant. Look at the white elephant. White elephant's frontality, strong frontality, as if it hovers down from the this architectural motif, the Shala type of architectural motif, which has the Chaitya windows. And of course, these architectural motifs are the replication of the then contemporary architecture. So the elephant which is appearing here, it is almost towards her feet. But usually the elephants are always represented either towards her head or towards her pelvis, as if symbolically the Buddha, the future Buddha, is entering in the form of white elephant into the womb of Maya Devi. So the artists at Sanchi appears to be very naturalistic in representation of the atmosphere of the building as well as the inner and outer both. One can notice a peacock which is sitting on the vedi of the building, where you can see the contemporary architectural motif as well as these faces which are part of the balcony. Possibly they were the assistants or the cardinal divinities. The next important images we encounter or we see is from our Karnataka. Sannati, a small village on the bank of river Bhima in Gulbarga district, Chitapur Taluk, has contributed one of the most beautiful stupas of the country. The sculptures, though fractured here and there, but in overall, some of the finest examples we can find in the Sannati Stupa. The sculptures which we are seeing now are the copings of the Vedibandha, where we have the dream of Maya Devi and related episodes. In earlier examples, we have seen only dream of Maya Devi. But here in Sannati, the artists have chosen various other related subjects to complete the narration. So in the upper panel here, the dream of Maya Devi is represented as it is the woman who is sleeping across the composition on a cot, where you can notice my cursor here, a small square where the elephant is represented and elephant is coming down towards the Maya Devi. So there are four figures, the four men, the four male figures, the whose heads are represented. Even according to the story, when Maya Devi is going to conceive, her womb, the future Buddha will be protected by the cardinal divinities. So the cardinal divinities will protect Maya Devi in disguise. They never appear, but they are always there wherever she would go and take care of the future Buddha. So that here the sculptors represented four faces along with the elephant, the white elephant, which is hovering down or which is descending down. Interestingly, here the next episode, the very next day morning, she shares the dream that she dreamt previous night with her husband Shuddhodana. So when dream was shared with the husband, naturally, which is a good sign, and it was discussed in the court along with his the retinue, the subject experts, along with the Kulguru Purohit, and they realized that the queen is going to have a child. So the dream, which is going to be realized, and she is going to be pregnant and going to deliver. So the next episode is the birth of Buddha, which is the most interesting method of representation in Indian art. In the Buddhist literature and Buddhist lore, it is said that Buddha was not born like the human beings. He was directly appeared from the belly of Maya Devi. The moment he appeared and came out and walked 7 steps. So the Buddhist lore specifically speak about Buddha's mighty powers that he already inherited when he was born. The child, the infant baby who had come out from the mother's womb directly and could walk 7 steps means all these details represent the mighty powers of the Buddha. So here Maya Devi is represented like Shalabhanjika. Shalabhanjika is a spirit, nature spirit, the tree spirit, the one who held the branch of a tree, standing in a relaxing posture. Assistant is also represented next to her, where the cardinal deities hold the piece, a long piece of silk cloth to receive the child. One can notice there the bent legs, which represents the weight of the child in their hand. The absence of Buddha, absence of the child, but the feeling of the bodily language, which suggestively makes that the presence of Buddha already in their hand. In the next episode, the birth of Buddha is represented, and subsequently, the other episodes of the life of Buddha are represented. For example, here we have Mara Vijaya panel, and of course, then Enlightenment panel. So let us see another important representation where the birth of Buddha is represented as a Shalabhanjika, Maya Devi, along with the cardinal gods. And the very interesting aspect of this panel is the central panel and the last panel, where the child is represented to the Vraksha Yaksha, the tree spirit, as a customary of the Shakya clan. Every newborn child to be presented to the tree spirit in their place. So the absence of the child you can notice here, but the feel of the weight of the child is clearly felt in the sculpture of Maya Devi. The moment child is presented to the tree spirit, that is Vraksha Yaksha Shakya Vardhana, he appears directly from the platform and bow down to the Tathagata, which is something very interesting. And as I mentioned earlier, here the Yaksha himself appears. Yaksha himself appears to pay his obeisance to the divine child. So next episode, what we notice here is the Abhinishkramana, the departure from the palace. When Siddhartha experiences the mundane life, the family life, and decides at one fine day that he has to leave the palace to reach the moksha and get the enlightenment in the form of symbolic horse. Horse was known as Chandaka and his charioteer was Chenna. So the Chandaka and Chenna are leaving the palace in the midnight. The artist very intelligently uses the palm of the Gandharvas, Yakshas, who carry the horse into their hand so that there will be no sound in the midnight, so that if the sound is created, the people who are sleeping in the palace might be disturbed. So Buddha, the future Buddhas, the venture might have been curtailed there itself. So the artist very intelligently use the visual language to narrate the subject in a most interesting manner. So let us see. There is one more representation of the birth of Buddha as Maya Devi in the form of Shalabhanjika holding the branch of tree, and also the four cardinal divinities holding the piece of cloth. So it is possibly one of the early examples at Sannati. So apart from Sannati, there are also many episodes in Sannati itself. The repetition of the theme can be seen in Sannati, and here is the possibly the interpretation of the dream and protection given by the cardinal guards to Maya Devi, which is much more refined in its style and also appears at Sannati. So apart from Sannati, there are many different modes of the representation of the birth narratives. During the Kushana period, first, second century CE, in the Gandhara sculpture, the birth narratives are more direct and more suggestive. You can notice the lady who is sleeping on the cot, where the elephant is coming down through the halo, which possibly the halo represents the heavens here, and touches her womb. So as if it is trying to enter into the womb, even size of the elephant and size of the Maya Devi, it also matters. The size of elephant is very tiny, as if a tiny figure of elephant in the possibly in the form of a symbolic Buddha enters into the belly. If you carefully observe her belly, it is bulged and symbolically represents she is a pregnant lady. We have similar examples at Gandhara, in Gandhara style, in Gandhara school, where more detailed narratives have been represented. At Amaravati, there is a fine narrative of representation of the horse. Sorry, I am extremely sorry. Uh, there is a fine representation of the elephant. The elephant which is appearing from the frame, which is again a tiny, and look at the way the sculptor is trying to adjust the figure within the composition. So the more elaborate example, the present sculpture is in British Museum, London. The earlier one is in Government Museum, Madras, Chennai. So here the absence of elephant is conspicuous, but the related narratives are very categorically represented. Interpretation of the dream, birth narrative, and Maya Devi as Shalabhanjika, and presentation of the child, appearance of the Shakyavardhana. So, what is important? What we understand from these figures is birth narrative of Buddha, as visualized by the Indian artists, takes different dimensions, different modes of the representation. But elephant stands symbolically as the future Buddha, especially the white elephant. White elephant or the elephant has been represented as part of the birth narrative, also as a symbolic Buddha in the Buddhist art. Thank you.